the guidance that the EFF will have from its president or leader will be, let's disrupt Zuma by all means possible, even if on some issues you can potentially agree. Amandla, Mayibuye, Africa. No, thank you very much, National Chairperson, and thank you very much to all the participants. We are truly and genuinely humbled that we asked on Tuesday that we invite professionals and entrepreneurs to join us today to make reflections in the process that we are engaged in. And in a very short space of time, we got the response that we got, and it's a very balanced composition of people and professionals and entrepreneurs from different sectors. And we got to receive very, very useful inputs and submissions in terms of the whole process. I want to start with a question which I think has to be responded to, because one of the things that I've got to perhaps very closely witness has been the formations of some of the political parties in South Africa. And I think I've got a far much more better analysis and assessment of what primarily could have led to some of those formations. And I will use that to then draw a very clear distinction between those political parties and the process that we're engaged in now. So after the ANC's 52nd National Congress or Conference in Polokwane in 2007, then of course President Mbeki was not re-elected as the president of the ANC, despite that he was available for third term. And then President Zuma was elected at that time. And then in September of 2008, there was a decision of the ANC to recall President Mbeki as a president and head of state. And those who associated and supported President Mbeki went to found the Congress of the People as an organization. And with his full support, he was part of the planning on the formation of the Congress of the People. And the primary reason for that was that they lost conference and he was recalled as a head of state and president of South Africa. I know this because at that time, I was in the National Executive Committee of the ANC Youth League, and I was full-time in the head office of the ANC as a national spokesperson, head of policy research, and we had to conceptualize and try to characterize what COPE was that time. But primarily was the anger which that comrade is speaking about, which those who supported President Mbeki were expressing against the ANC that was led by President Zuma. That is why COPE did not become a durable program. That is one. Two, the formation of the economic freedom fighters came from different streams. There are those of us who believed that we should take up the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime outside of the ANC and fight it as a genuine, legitimate struggle. But amongst us, those who said that we must go and constitute the struggle for economic freedom outside of the ANC as a separate organization, there were those who wanted to use that platform as an expression of anger against President Zuma, who was the president of the ANC, elected in 2007 and re-elected in 2012 in Bloemfontein. And how do you notice that? Is that against our advice perpetually, like those who work with us will tell you this, that against our advice perpetually, the guidance that the EFF will have from its president or leader will be, let's disrupt Zuma by all means possible, even if on some issues you can potentially agree. That we're just fighting Zuma to the bitter end, it doesn't matter what he says. Zuma comes to parliament, he says that let us try to mobilize 2/3 majority to change the constitution. No, we don't want anything to Zuma or to do with Zuma. To the extent that the EFF even fought side by side with the white capitalist establishment to remove President Zuma. Like associated openly with the establishment, because amongst those who were in the EFF leadership, there were those who were saying, no, we are going to disrupt Zuma, we don't want to listen to him on anything, even on areas where there potentially could have been some consensus and agreement. On issues that were going to resolve the crisis and problems of the people of South Africa. And comrades, you'll say, obviously people will say, no, but you were there. Yes, you were there. But there are so many decrees that got to be over-dominant in terms of the direction of the organization. That is part of the reasons why we had to disassociate from such nonsensical approach to politics, where it's, I'm fighting this person to the bitter end. You must listen to some of the things that will be said that, no, we're just fighting. Even where there is potential for agreement on some of the policy questions, and you just throw the wedge wider and wider every day.